So, hi, dear my dear friends. So, I'm continuing this Sanskrit and artificial intelligence part number two from where I left over in part number one. So, let us go into the understanding of what is meant by a semantic net. What is meant by that in an artificial intelligence? See, primarily the machine has to be taught a language to teach the computer. The machine should first understand the language what you are saying. So, that language, the machine language, can be in any natural languages. What are natural languages? Our own mother tongue is a natural language, and English can be a natural, and Hindi can be a natural language, a Tamil, a Malayalam, whatever it is, a French, a German, those native speakers can have their own mother tongues or the language in which they are fluent as the natural language. It's natural. It has come out. Now, what is meant by a semantic net? See, the artificial intelligence, the machine, requires an easy understanding procedure. In certain natural languages, there may be grammar, there may not be grammar, there may be a proper structure. So, what they do, the programmers, the intelligent persons, what they do, they split up so that easy understanding into, say, what is known as nodes and arcs. I am not going into too technical information for general understanding of the public. The nodes and arcs they go, and the nodes denotes the actions and the arcs denotes the objects. The actions and the objects pertain to the actions only. The arcs, which is represented by graphs, are objects pertaining to the actions in the nodes. See, that is a common understanding. See, in olden times, I would give you, there was a graphic representation. How it was a graphic representation in the sense, see, there would be something they called as a supreme genome or something like that they call, okay, genus or some word. They give out a tree shape, just like, we have our telling our ancestors who our grandfather, great grandfather, there may be a lot of branches. So when the great grandson wants to know who is great grandfather and other relatives, it's enough if he sees the family chart. That would be easier than I am telling your father, you are one of the fathers whose name was there and he was the son of the so and so, they have so many names, like that. Going and trying to explain in English could mean what is known as a cumbersome procedure generally. So in that case, they were breaking him into the artificial. They were breaking into a family tree, something like a family tree. If you want, you can take it or you can put it as a family tree. Now, there in the family tree, suppose if you take a substance, whatever it is, there is something called the material and the immaterial. Is it not? And what is the immaterial? They generally used to clog it down. And what is that immaterial? Well, immaterial is something which we can say material, immaterial. Immaterial, you can say something like a spirit, a ghost, and in which you don't have any further classification. You can't. In material, you have the living beings, then you have the inanimate and the animate. Inanimate are something like minerals. Then the animate are something like animals we have who are sensitive and insensitive. Likewise, you can classify sensitive and insensitive people, or we are sensitive people. And if you want, you can say insensitive are those minerals, and sensitive again, rational and irrational, you can say. Rational are human beings like us, and irrational, some people say it was classified as animals, but I would say even animals are rational. In my opinion, I would bring them into a classification of rational only. But for broader purpose of understanding, animals are irrational and minerals are inanimate. Like that, you can put a chart and then explain. Then on human beings, we have a lot of human beings, the Caucasians, the Negroid or the Mongoloid, and you can classify like that. Easy understanding, how we came from, what are these, some way of putting things in proper order. That is what we call as now semantic net. Semantic, going into the semantics of a topic means going into the depth, the base, the foundation. So that is what we say. And in that, if you want to take the semantics, machine has to be taught a language where it can teach the computer without any confusion. See, from a natural language, if there is no deviation on an artificial intelligence, that means that language is good. Why the artificial intelligence language is brought forth is for the machine is there is a lot of confusions prevalent in our natural languages. That is the fundamental point. I am just going into the fundamentals. For example, if you want to take English, say going. No, I am going, you are going, he is going, she is going. Everybody use only going. Is it not? So therefore, the machine can get a confusion who is going, whether I am going, you are going, or what. Therefore, aham gacchami, I will say in Sanskrita. Tvam gacchasi, I will say in Sanskrita. Saha gacchati or sa gacchati. Now you see, aham gacchami only, I am going. Tvam gacchasi. So the si comes there. Gacchasi. Mivahamaha sita hata tita. It's a verb ending. It's a beautiful structured language, Sanskrita. So with the machine, if I write as Tvam gacchasi, it is certain that gacchasi is the second person, what we call as the Uttama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha and Prathama Purusha, first, second and third. Gacchasi means that it is only second person, it cannot be the first person. Aham gacchasi, wrong. In Sanskrit there is no word like that. Kutrapi, Samskrita koshe kutrapi etat vakya nasti, grama vyakaranam nasti. Ataha, aham gacchami only. Now, avam gacchavaha is also there is there. See, I will give you the format brief for understanding. Aham gacchami, avam gacchavaha, vayam gacchamaha, tvam gacchasi, tvam yuvam. So, you two, we have a duality. Yuvam gacchataha, or if you want to say karomi kurutaha. So, yuvam gacchataha, yuyam gacchata, saha or sa gacchati, tau, saha tau te for masculine and plural sa te taha. See again beautiful. So they too, if they are female, if they are males, saha tau gacchata and te gacchanti. All males only. Purushalingam, Punlingam. If it is in Strilingam, sa te taha, sa gacchati, te will be here. Te gacchata, sa te taha. Taha gacchanti. So the machine will understand whether it is a male or a female. And if it is a neutral gender, it is tatute tani. Tatute tani. Then from the third it becomes the Purushalinga. So machine will understand the first the gender classification. The machine will understand by the mivahamaha, aham gacchami, ahamam gacchavaha, whether it is singular, plural or first person, first person. If it is gacchasi, second person. If it is gacchati, third person. Simple, I am putting it before you. So, this is a natural language, Sanskritam. So, on a natural language, if there is a minimum deviation from the artificial language, that language is perfect. Because the artificial intelligence is more natural. If you want to give a semantic net, there are a lot of experiences, explanations and examples in the Rigbrits article and others. Several others have started commenting. Some have taken, mostly I have taken from the texoword.wordpress.com. They have analyzed beautifully in a critical way. They are saying that we don't accept fully what Rigbrit says. Whether he is there or not is a different question. Researcher or not, I am not going to that. But he has written that article has been published in Artificial Intelligence AAI magazine. I told you yesterday, the last part 1. So this texoword.wordpress.com, I think that is a website. They are analyzing critically against Rigbrit's article. Others, there are a lot of others who argue for and against. But I am telling you the crux of the problem where the tech Greek they call the texo, it's a tech Greek, where they may be in error also. They are also not fully correct in their critical analysis of Rigbrit's article. Why I am telling you? Because of the structure which we have. Even it is overshadows, even it surpasses Latin. Latin is a dead language. Sanskritam is not as dead as language. There are a lot of people speaking in India. See, I speak Sanskritam. Like me, a lot of people are there. There are villages devoted to Sanskritam speaking. And all the mantras and the Vedas are still even chanted today in Sanskrita only. So you can't say it is a dead language. There are publications there in Sanskrita. There are news in Sanskrita. How I do not, they call dead language, I do not know. Probably for a certain period of time nobody were speaking. I do not know of those because I was not born in those times. Therefore, the structure, have you seen this? So, how beautiful it is when the deviation is almost zero. If I want to represent to a machine in a semantic net, in the artificial intelligence, I have to split all these so that the machine understands without confusion for it to process. That is a simple thing of a semantic net. John gave Mary the ball, that will they will say giving, the art of action they will be putting in the center. Then the objects are just put it in nodes and arcs. Giving is the main action, then the object is the ball, then the subject is the subjective case is John, and the dative the object is the ball, the dative case is the recipient Mary. All those things are put split atomic way, in structured way, split and easy for the machine to understand without any confusion, but that is already available in Sanskrita. Very little deviation will be there from the artificial intelligence. The common sense is whichever language that is there with a deviation of almost close to zero to an artificial machine language, that language is natural and that language is perfect, and that is what is the intention of Rigbrits. There is one language, if he has written, I do not know who the Rigbrits is, maybe a NASA researcher or a NASA, we are not sure. I am not sure because I tried somewhere but I couldn't get his work. Therefore, I only read from the internet about the AAA paper published by a person called Rigbrits, calling himself to be a researcher of NASA. Okay, that is a different issue altogether. But if they use Sanskritam, that has the little deviation from the machine language. That is what it is first, prime number one, that is important. If you have too much of a confusion, in English you will have a lot of confusions because you will not know what is, in English if I want to say John, I will say John, in Sanskrita I will say Johnaha, I will take it to a masculine or Krishnaha. If same way I want to express in feminine, I will say Krishna. So Sanskritam will, with the Visarga, Sanskritam also will understand the subject by itself. There is no further classification that is required. Then we have got various Kridanta Pratyaha, like Tavyat Pratyaha, Lup, lot of these things are there, Aniyar and all. So if you put that Pratyaha there, Dha Tavyam, Tavya Pratyaha, so if you put that, it is understood, that's all. No further, see, by all those females, or with all those females, if you want to say, I will say in Sanskrita, Tritiya Vibhakti Tabihi. And if it is male, by all those males, I will say Tebhyaha or Taihi, if it is Tritiya Vibhakti. Saha taute tam tautan tena tabhyam taihi tasmai tabhyam tebhyaha tasmat tabhyam tebhyaha tasya tayoho tesham tasmin tayoho teshu. That is Purushalinga. Strilinga sa tetaha tam tetaha taya tabhyam tabihi. By all those females, tasyaitaabhyam tabhyah tasyaha tabhyam tabhyah tasyaha tayoho tasam tasyam tayoho tasu is some Strilinga format. I will easily say tabihi. That's it. Tritiya Vibhakti Bahuvachanam, by all those or with all those females, or taihi, by all those males. See, it is very easy for a machine to understand rather than putting into a long sentences. What will happen? See, as a person with some knowledge in programming also, in a multiplayer, this is only for, you may say only 4 words are by all those females. Everybody knows English, so it's better to use than going for some other language. See, that is not the issue now. The issue is whether Sanskritam is suitable for artificial intelligence. Yes, it is very much suitable. That's what I am going to prove. Now the point is, by all those males, if you are going to put so many words and without knowing some subject, whether it is Jonaha or Mary. Mary can be a male also. John can be also a female. The machine has to be explained by another codification. Whereas I will say Krishna. Krishna. Matter is over for me. If I put a Visarga and not a Visarga, machine will understand. Now what will happen is, please understand, the multiplier accelerator effect. This is one. But then when you build up the programs by trying to put in lot of explanations and other things to avoid confusions and putting in lot of semantic net positions, it's a very big task. The multiplier accelerator effect of all these things, by one is built on the previous is built on the previous is built on the previous. When you construct such languages with effort, it is a problem. It is inaccurate. I wouldn't say. Today, the entire programming is done on English, right? Because all of us speak English. But the point is, had we gone on to the measure of writing Sanskrit programs, had we followed our traditions instead of following some other foreign tradition, when our rishis have structured so beautifully, अस्माकं ऋषयः प्राचीनकाले एतत् विज्ञान सामर्थ्यं कथं कियत् पर्यन्तम् आसन् इति वयं जानीमः किल. ते सर्वविषयः रचयाञ्चक्रिरे प्राचीनकाले एव 5,000 वर्षपूर्वमेव ते रचयाञ्चक्रिरे. सामर्थ्यशालिनः विज्ञानिनः विविदिरे तत् समये, तत् कालसमये इति चेत् 6,000 वर्षाणि पूर्वकम्, about 6,000 years back, they were existing, they existed. रचयाञ्चक्रिरे सर्वविषयः, सर्ववैज्ञानिक विज्ञान विषयः. They are beautifully thought probably, that's why they constructed with the duality also. So that something will come tomorrow or something must be there. There is no necessity to structure a language so beautifully which you don't find in any other languages. Even in German, if you say we and all, you say it's a plural, but there is no duality. In Sanskrit, I have a lit pratyaya for a past tense and lang pratyaya. What is lit? Lit pratyaya exists, it's a past tense, it's a perfect past tense, which is past tense before my generation or the present generation. You refer something to have happened and before the present generation level, say something 100 years back, 200 years back, 1000 years back. Whereas lang pratyaya, I say asit, asan, bahuvachana means it was there, but 10 years back in our generation. So that type of a language structure you don't have in English. But why? We use English because we are trained in English. We are lazy. We are lazy now to throw away English and introduce Samskrita, because in grammar you have to be perfect. See, if I want to use lit, I will have to use all babu, vuhu or chakara for done. I cannot use kritavan, akarot. If it is a prathama purusha, saha, akarot is about 20 years back, 30 years back in our lifetime. Saha chakara means, saha means he did it. What, 5,000 years back? For example, Panini Chakara, he did 5,000 years back. Rachayan Chakrire means they, Rashayaha, Rachayan Chakrire, they wrote 5,000 years back. Or if I want to say present person, Likitavantaha. See, the point is, the grammar has to be implemented of Panini if you want to do any computer programming for artificial intelligence. And I am 100% sure, the deviation may be very little, but it is towards perfection. The deviation is towards zero only, maybe little, but that can be perfected. But the point is, we have to know the Sanskrit grammar and the computer programming knowledge. Instead of trying to create a cumbersome process of semantic net, artificial intelligence in arcs and nodes, and making the computer to know, we have to learn, all of us have to learn, but that may be a tough thing when compared to this toughness. What is that? I better use English and go on a cumbersome process than trying to learn Samskrita fresh Because for most of the foreigners, Sanskritam is not in their genes. Like we Indians, we have it in our genes. The language we speak, even if it is our Matrubhasha, Sarvasam Bhashahana Niyama, Sanskritam, Asmadam Sanskritam eva. Asmakam Bharata Deshasya Rashtriya Bhasha Sanskritam eva asit. Our Rashtriya Bhasha was Sanskritam. Asmakam Matrubhashayam api Bahavaha Padani Sanskrita Padani eva. यदि वयं सूक्ष्मतया वयं पश्यामः चेत् ज्ञातव्या तत्र पश्यन्तु सूक्ष्मतया परिशीलयन्तु भवन्तः सर्वे एनी टाइम इवन तमिल और मलयालम इज फुल एंड फुल संस्कृतम ओनली हिंदी इज फुल एंड फुल शुद्ध हिंदी संपूर्ण रीत्या शतमानं संस्कृतमेव किंचित विन्यासः भवति तत्र विन्यासः अस्ति वाक्य विन्यासः संभाषण विन्यासः तावदेव अतः see what I am saying is if we had learned Sanskritam for the last 200 years and if our Rashtriya Bhasha was Sanskrita just like in Adi Shankara times, then all of us would have programmed it. Even we have taught programming foreigners in Sanskrita only. It's not very big, it's not difficult to learn Sanskrita. When Maurice Bloomfield or Kenneth Diffie, they have translated Rig Veda in English, from Sanskrita to English, all foreigners can easily grasp the language. Only thing, patience and effort. And if they have done the future work, the future development, the future advancement in science and technology through programming, through artificial intelligence would be much more. It will be a multiplier accelerator effect. It will be in what I would say, to put it in a crude form, in geometric progression. Whereas with through English, you will be having in only arithmetic progression, a broad way of making people understand. That's it. If we had Sanskritam as the basic computer artificial intelligence, which has a very little deviation from the natural language, the language of the machine, then the advancement in science and technology will be very high. The more of it I shall continue in my part 3, and till such time, Bhuyat Tavat Shubhamangalam. Thank you.